My name is Matt, and this is my first video on this channel and my, introduction into the whole YouTube community. This channel is going to be pretty much devoted to personal finance and budgeting, a little bit of investing, and overall just building wealth and reaching, financial independence. So for those of you that are here because of the Dave Ramsey FPU, or the Financial Peace University online forum, where I've also made some posts on that as well. I'm the Matt with the Gazelle head. So that was my avatar. And so I think my last post that I put on there was the so long and thanks for all the fish. And I said and mentioned that I was going to be making a YouTube channel. This is the YouTube channel, and I am that Matt from there. So welcome. So as an engineer, I have a very methodical approach to personal finance. And this basically means I like to look at things very logically, step by step, and making sure that everything is done that makes a logical sense, as opposed to listening primarily to just a lot of advice, random advice. So engineering in any shape or form is really just boils down to one main concept. Moving energy from over here to over here, over here. That's all it is. You're just moving energy from one place to another. And it doesn't matter what kind of engineering, whether it's mechanical, aerospace, electrical, civil, computer, environmental, nuclear, whatever. It's all doing the same thing. And it's doing it in the most efficient way possible. So efficiency just means you're taking some variable and maximizing it. So maybe you're trying to minimize time, or maybe it means you're trying to minimize weight or minimize cost, or maximize durability. An example of this would be your car. One of the main things that you want to try to do with your car is if the way you can reduce money on it is by focusing on the fuel efficiency. And fuel efficiency is just how effective is your car at converting the chemical energy in the battery or your gasoline into kinetic energy as your car moves. And that's a function of a lot of different things. It's the function of how good your engine is. It's a function of how the car is shaped. It's a function of how much air pressure you have in your tires, whether you're doing a bunch of stop and go traffic or whether you're doing a lot of freeway traffic. How effectively you can convert the chemical energy in the gasoline or the battery, or a combination of the two, into miles and distance is ultimately the efficiency of that vehicle. I take this approach and I look at it as, well, what is the most efficient way to move money from one place to another? How can I reduce all the drags and all the problems associated with that? There are equations in finance that describe the flow of money and the current state of money, and that if we can maximize both of those, then, and look at the variables that describe those, we can now find ways to make money and make money do exactly what we want it to do. We can build wealth. We can build financial independence. We don't have to worry about any kind of major bills and stuff like that, because we understand the financial dynamics of how money flows and how to make it go exactly where we want, just like an engineer would make energy move from one place to another. There are two main equations that describe the dynamics of money, if you will. One of them is the net worth. You've probably heard that before. And so the net worth basically is what you own minus what you owe, or your assets minus your liabilities. Now, for this channel, I'm going to be defining assets in the standard definition, which is an asset is just anything that can be sold on the open market that includes cash, a lump sum of cash. If you have $10,000 in cash, that's an asset, right? If you have $10,000, a $10,000 car, that's an asset. If you have anything that can be traded or sold in the open market is an asset. whereas a liability is any debt that you have. So if you have, let's say you took out a car note for $25,000, you have, so basically what it is let's say you have a car, you bought a car, right? You buy a car right here, right? Here's the car, that's the asset. That car came with a note, right? A little note right there that you had to sign for. That's the liability. The car is an asset because you can sell it. The actual car note is the liability. That's what says you owe the bank or you owe whoever the money in order to get that. That's the actual liability. The other equation that works along with this is cash flow. So cash flow is the difference between what you bring in terms of income and what goes out in terms of your expenses. The goal basically is to maximize net worth and cash flow. So we want both of these to go up. Mathematically, to make this side of the equation go up, A has to go up and L has to go down, or L can go away. For cash flow to go up, I has to go up, the income has to go up, and expenses have to go down. Since net worth is basically the scorecard of wealth, the higher the net worth you get, the higher the wealthier you are. This is what we're primarily going to be focusing on. So the strategy then, based off of these equations right here, is maximize cash flow by reducing expenses and increasing income. Take that cash flow, that extra cash flow, and feed it into the assets. Buy assets. Now, ideally, we'd want some form of a loop to form here. So we take the assets, and what we'll do is, I'll try to draw it like this. As the assets rise, you want to buy assets that provide income, and they'll raise income. As the asset grows and provides income, and that would be an example of, you buy stocks, you buy bonds or whatever, or index funds. They pay dividends, they pay interest. They also grow just in capital appreciation. It could be rental checks with real estate. If you own a business, it could be your own business income. If you own another business and that business makes its own kind of income, kind of Shark Tank style. If you are making royalties with licensing deals, any asset that provides an income, because what will happen is that will raise income, which brings up cash flow, which again is the goal. Cash flow grows. You then take that cash flow, buy more of the asset. That asset grows, provides more income. That income then goes and creates more cash flow, which goes back up, feeds back in. Asset grows, provides more income, provides more cash flow, goes back up, feeds the asset. And all the while, the asset is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which means it's providing more and more income, and it means that net worth is growing as well. So this kind of, it makes like a little loop right here, kind of. That means that anytime you put money into this kind of loop, you're building wealth. Any activity that puts money into this loop builds wealth. Anything that doesn't is not building wealth. And if your goal is to build wealth, as is mine, I'm focusing on putting money into this cycle and into this loop. So take, for example, debt, for example, all right? So debt is an L. So I'll flip this over. So debt is your liability. So again, that means we have net worth is A minus L. That means we have debt right here. Now, as a natural consequence of debt, that means, debt can be anything from, car loans. It can be credit card, payments. It can be, wow, that is bad handwriting. It can be the most dubious of them all is your student loans. All right. All of these loans by default create added expenses. They all have their own bills. The car loan has a car payment. Credit card payments have also their own payments. Student loans have their own payment. Personal loans, I'll put that up here. Personal loans have their own payment. And cash flow, like I just said before, is income minus expenses. So every single one of these loans is adding an extra expense to your monthly budget. So, and if the goal is to raise this, and all of these are raising this, well, that's going counter to your goal. So what this is really saying, if there's a way to do it, is if net worth, again, is assets minus liabilities, if we could find a way to completely eliminate all the liabilities, which means to get rid of all your debt, you would eliminate all of these expenses that go along with it. And by eliminating all of those expenses, E goes down, and that means cash flow goes up. And additionally, what would happen is this would go away. That means all your net worth is basically just comprised of all of your assets, which constantly keep growing because your cash flow keeps growing, because you don't have any extra payments that are getting choked up right over here that are choking up your cash flow. So from this perspective, the goal then and strategy should be to become and remain debt-free. So that is a brief overview of the types of videos that I plan on uploading to this channel. I look forward to a lot of interaction with you guys, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. I will definitely get back to you. I look forward to a nice long YouTube career. We'll see how this goes. Talk to you later.